reflections from my fellow cancer fighters. Today was our first day getting an actual run in on the clock. I had not been previously letting myself see the pace that I was doing. I just needed to get out and actually get some distance built underneath my legs. The original goal for today was to do a circuit as well, but just after thinking about it on the run, I'm going to split the day, do it 2 a day with a circuit in the afternoon, allow my body to recover from this run, kind of get a feel for where it's at, do deliberate stretching like I often skip to prevent injury, and just get a feel for it. But today I put myself on the clock for the first time, and over this next 2 weeks, now that I'm, I think, 5 weeks post major surgery and then the port placement, it's been, whatever today is, it's been about 2.5, almost 3 weeks. So wanted to push it a little bit. The metric I was going with was not so much the pace that I was keeping. I just want to keep track of it so I can get better measures of target running paces as we move past the full 8-week of recovery from the right coloctemy. And was keeping target heart rate around 150 just to see where I'm at. A couple things that lessons that I've learned, obviously with where I'm at. Post port placement, I still have one stitch, which is really weird, cleared by the surgeons obviously. It's a dissolvable stitch. Once the glue came off mid-week last week, there was still part of it protruding from the incision point. They cleared me and I had Amber snip it at the skin, but obviously hard to see here, but I can feel it. It's still coming through the skin, still trying to dissolve. You can kind of see where my jugular and that stitch meet in the incision point. So wanted to be careful with that, obviously. And as I pushed the distance, I just wanted to get a feel for what the new normal is with the port here in my chest now that the bruising's gone, the line up through my neck, and then obviously it's running into my heart, so I needed to keep an eye on cardiovascular health as well. But it felt great. Made it to 2 miles. Bubba was with me the first 1.5 miles, and then I handed him off to Amber. And then I was able, for that last half mile, to keep about an 8:30 pace, which felt pretty good. Wasn't pushing it too hard. The other metrics I'm using just to kind of get a baseline along with heart rate. The basic of the pace is my VO2 max, my max O2, all those things that help to enable specifically continued health as we go into the deeper rounds of chemo. But in the eventuality I need additional surgeries, I need to continue to keep my blood pressure, all those things manageable and ready to go so I can stay in the fight and my body is as healthy as it possibly can be. Obviously, it's now fighting chemo and cancer and keeping it healthy. A couple things that I have purposely carried with me. Part of it's because I'm running with the dog, and he's actually a good restrictor plate because his pace is, as a puppy at 7 months, is honestly probably about where I'm at almost 5 weeks post-surgery. The fanny pack, obviously key. I've got my medical alert stuff in here for the port and surgeon's number, primary care provider, my cell phone, obviously not just for music, it's for my 911er, and then keeping on routes, because I love trail running, haven't got to that level yet because I don't want to push the steps and hurting myself, and I obviously don't want to need to Casevac and medevac. First responders have to come on a trail that they can't get a vehicle on because I'm not a light kid. The other thing I am going to add though is depending on where you end up going, like I mentioned, I think in a couple other videos, if it's a civilian hospital, they don't necessarily have all the medications that are listed. I'll add in my emergency contact information, next of kin for Amber, obviously. But I'm going to do a crib sheet, small thing that has like all the points of contact for my providers on one side and then the meds that I'm on the other. In the event, highly unlikely, that I become unconscious and have to be medevaced and they don't know who I am or what's wrong with me. And then inside my wallet, which is in here, has the the major information on the port and the ID number along with provider and contact information. If I'm going to Tripler or a military hospital, no issue. MH Genesis will be able to see all that stuff. But you never know where you're going to be when it happens. Because I love to hike and we're going to start getting back out on it. All right, the deliberate recovery. I'm going to start putting together some of the recovery warm-up and drills that we've used in the past. I'm adapting them obviously as I continue to expand post-surgery. Abs feel good. I have noticed that because of the 4 weeks with stitches in my abdomen, basically in a large circle here, my posture started slumping, and that's obviously brought some of my discs in my back, which have made previous back problems a little more deliberate, and I'm measuring like half an inch shorter. So getting back to the foam roller deliberately or regularly, foam or the rolling stick for the quads, all those muscles in your back, especially with a back injury like mine, if you have nerve damage, L5, S1 and below, basically all the way down to your feet, your posture is going to start changing before you start noticing the pain, at least for me. So keeping that foam roller going from the shoulders, starting at the shoulders, getting the knots in the middle of the shoulder blades, and then working your way down to your hips, the muscles at the back of your buttocks at the top there, IT bands with the lacrosse ball and foam roller, and then working it all the way down. It's usually the best way that I've found to keep my posture where it needs to be, especially if you work at a desk. Thankfully, my new desk is standing or sitting, so it elevates. I'm forcing myself just to be deliberate in the timing process of how much I'm standing versus sitting, walking every hour, even if it's just for a little bit to keep my steps in, keep my posture, and stretching while I walk. And then this afternoon we'll attempt the first circuit. So keep pushing yourself within the limits of whatever your providers are doing. I feel good. Need to stretch for sure and drink water, but I'll see how my recovery time is between chemo, morning meds. Afternoon, my tummy usually is settled down too, so I can get the circuit in. I'll just go as many rounds as feasible, and restricting the weight. And then I'll post again later just to not necessarily go over the workout, but give you a metric of how I'm feeling, and then you all obviously work within your limits. Keep yourself healthy. Your immune system needs it, and it's obviously good for the motivation. Have a great day.